My father died when I was only 3 years old, so I have very vague recollections. However, I do remember very clearly not eating my breakfast as a little child. And when he was coming, my mom telling me, "Here's your father, go and eat your breakfast." And I run inside and and I went on the table and eat. I think that's maybe the only memory I really have of him. I can see myself in my father for sure in those pictures. He was somebody who, from what I've gathered and from what I've seen, a very, very, very open-minded, free spirit. Everybody said he never liked wearing shoes, even when he went and represent St. Lucia overseas. He was actually St. Lucia's first fisheries officer. He would go for Jari. That was his favorite footwear. And he never liked buttoning his shirt. His shirt was always wide open. So everybody tells me, in Choiseul, the kind of person he was, had a very big voice, because they used to call him Fatty, and it was because of his size and his height. He was a huge guy. And, he seemed to have a little recklessness in him as well, as it relates to how he drove, but he taught the fishermen a lot of things. He was the one who set up the first fishermen's cooperative in Vieux-Fort. He taught fishermen how to smoke fish, and he really, really loved the sea. And I think that has been passed on to me and also passed on to my daughter, who actually now works with the Ministry of Fisheries. Maybe one day she might fall in his shoes as a fisheries officer. But yeah, these are the earliest memories I have. But I do recognize the void, of not having a father. While my mom played a dual role, I must say thanks to all my uncles and my in-laws who also stepped in and supported my mom. But I know it was something that must have had a deep psychological effect, because I remember at the age of 17 attending a retreat. It was a prayer retreat for a weekend, and they asked us to write down things that we wanted to wash away or to burn. And I remember writing down the fact that I grew up without a father, and we had to burn it so that we could have just let it go. And I never realized that was something that was so deeply entrenched in my psyche. But I think that's one of the reasons my kids, I make sure that I am there for them. And I want to urge all fathers out there that, regardless of the relationship with your partner, your children are your children, and never, never, never abandon your children. For people who have lost their father at an early age, I recognize that there's a void, particularly if you are attending functions and your father is supposed to also be included in that and he's not there. You feel a little bit left out, and sometimes people gravitate to other father figures, and they look at them as, but we must have role models. And I think recognizing what I did not have, growing up, even before I came into politics, I would have sponsored parents who cannot take care of the children at preschool, put my hands in a pot, because I recognize, the hardship that some mothers can have without having that support system in place. I remember when my daughter was born, I think I bought out the liquor at a particular store to celebrate with my friends. It was a very, very joyful moment. I really celebrated, and I love all my kids very much. I always want to be there for them. I try to make them recognize the mistakes that I may have made, and that they don't fall in this footsteps. While children have a mind of their own, and they believe sometimes you old, but you have to let them know some of the life lessons that you've learned. It's very, very important that as fathers we can sit down with our kids. They may not want to listen to us, but if you could give them practical examples and show them some people who may have not followed certain basic guiding rules and where they ended up. As much as possible, you need to give them a free rein, but always, be at the back, watching over, to steer them back on the right path. The fact that I grew up without a father, I think I recognize even more what I miss from my children. Very recently, I have a young son, and he got a toy which needed him to use a screwdriver. And he told his mother he's going to wait for me. Daddy can fix it. And I felt so good. That that is a fixer. So that I continue to remember that, and I think that is what maybe young children look to their father for, someone who can fix the problem. Be present. Be present. Make the contact. Communicate. Just spend time alone with them. Sometimes you don't have to speak. Just being there. And as much as possible, you make your kids very, very comfortable so that they can open up to you. Sometimes, we are so rigid and we're so quick to maybe accuse our kids that they close up and they confide, sometimes maybe even in the wrong person. So I think we, as a father, make your children as comfortable as possible with you. Obviously, knowing the role that you play to, but as much as possible that they can come to you with any challenge that they have. Because most times they think they can solve it on their own, they make a bigger mistake, and sometimes they go to the wrong people for the advice and they dig themselves into a deeper. But make them comfortable, continue to show them that you love them. I don't believe in spoiling at all, but at the same time, children, needs to feel the comfort and the love of a father. Both parents. To all the fathers, Choiseul, Saltibus, and St. Lucia, I want to wish, a wonderful Father's Day. It's just one day where we celebrate, and sometimes even when we dote on the mothers, we get them all kind of gifts for Father's Day. And even on Father's Day, sometimes we have to provide that for them to give us the gifts, But it is our day, let's enjoy it. Let's spend time with the family. Let us reach out maybe to family members as well that you may have not reached out for a while. Some of us don't see our family, our grandfathers. Reach out and let them know how much you love them, because we have learned, particularly in this environment, life is fleeting, and one day you're here, one day you're not. And let us try to live as much as possible without regret.